What's going on, guys? Frankie Forsyth back here with another video, and this one's gonna be about how the values of semen retention, the values that it gives you and teaches you, and you tend to live by if you actually follow this practice, whether you follow it religiously or slip up every now and then. But the underlying values and principles behind semen retention will make you into a real man. This masculinizes you. This will make you more masculine. And the reason I spoke about what I did in the preface of this video, where I said that whether you practice this as religiously or you slip up every now and then, because if you're young, it's inevitable you'll slip up sometime, whether it be 1 week, 1 month, a year. You're going to slip up. I'm not trying to say this to be pessimistic, but it's very hard for most people to overcome this addiction that we basically grew up with. It's like trying to get off of heroin when you started the shit when you were like 10 years old. And this is especially hard for me. I'll say it myself. I'll be the first one to say this. Like I slipped up a few days ago and I wasted my energy and it's important that you introspect and realize why you slipped up, because with every slip up you will learn another lesson about yourself and what happened to lead you to this thing that you know is not good for you, is not beneficial in any way at all besides pleasure. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about that. But now I'm going to talk about the main topic of the video. And the thing is, when you start actually practicing semen retention for a decent amount of time and you get on some decently long streaks, there's no going back, because you know the truth. You know the truth in your spirit and in your heart. So there's no going back once you know these underlying values and principles. And this is why it will inevitably make you into a real man, because you really have no choice but to follow these principles once you know them to be the truth. But these principles that I'm speaking about, these are things like not objectifying women, not only using them for their bodies, they're more than that. Believe it or not, they're humans. Even if women are acting like whores, it's best to just step away. Because if you engage in this behavior with these, don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of fucking promiscuous women out there today, and if you engage in this, for lack of better terminology, degenerate behavior, you're going to inevitably become like them. The woman you have sex with, you take in some of her personality and she takes in some of yours. That's how the energy exchange works in sex. And a lot of men these days don't understand this, because I wonder if there's a word for exactly the idea that I'm trying to convey right now, but like, a lot of men only see with these two eyes. They only see with the two eyes that see the material world, you know? They don't see with this inner eye, you know, the third eye, the pineal gland, whatever you want to call it, whatever you might believe. But they don't see with this third eye. They don't see the spiritual world or the energy exchanges happening behind when they have sex with women. And this is what leads to immensely immature behavior from guys nowadays. Like, I mean, dude, I feel like I said this in every video, but like, I didn't really know it was this bad. I mean, I'm working at a job that I work at occasionally. It's at it's on a river, and I'm working with some guys, and dude, all they're talking about is just sex, sex, sex. Like, oh, I remember when I fucked this one bitch. Yeah, she was so sexy, but yeah. And there's one guy the other day. He's like, I have no standards. I will fuck any woman. This is pathetic, man. This is fucking pathetic. And I really need to say this to these guys' faces. I need to stop being. I'm being a bitch. I need to just say this to these guys' faces because I don't, and I should. These guys clearly need a fucking the tough love of a father figure. Clearly, I should have just said to his face when he said that. That's fucking pathetic. That's pathetic. But I mean, I kind of alluded to that fact. I asked him what's wrong with him a couple times, but yeah, and all these guys, they go to strip clubs and shit like this. Another guy was saying how, a couple of them actually were saying how they fucked their cousins. One of them said he didn't know or whatever. Then the same kid was saying that he was wild and out in his younger years, like early 20s, just fucking anything that moves. It's like, bro, it's crazy the indoctrination of how men fucking a lot of women, you're considered like a pimp or a player, and that's a good thing. The indoctrination is so bad with that, it's unbelievable. It's way worse than women. Sure, nowadays you have like fucking slut liberation and all this bullshit, but in men it's like so deep because men think they're so cool for having sex. And this is really like, for example, like when the Bible talks about you will be set apart and the path is narrow, those that find it are slim, you know what I mean? Because this is really what fucking sets you apart from most men. I mean, you might not share some interests with men or whatever, but dude, like, I felt so fucking different from all those guys, and I'm grateful for that, actually. I had no interest in talking about that stuff. A couple years ago, 3 years ago, yeah, I would have loved to talk about that. Because I hadn't fully come into my maturity and manhood yet by accepting semen retention as the truth, because that's ultimately what it is. The principles and values behind it. I mean, sure, you might, jerk off every now and then, but once you have those principles ingrained in your head and you consciously know what you're doing, you'll make it eventually. You'll be at the point eventually where you don't think about women in that way anymore. We're all on that journey. I'm far from it, far from the end, but at least I'm on the path, and I know the path. And sometimes I'm led astray. Like, honestly, I think these guys got into my head because the last week or something, like, I was just in such a sexual mind state. And this is another quote that I think, like, this is a good example to share this with. It's better to be in no company than in bad company, because when you're in bad company, that shit just starts slowly seeping through the cracks of your head into your mind, even if you don't want it to, because what you listen to is ultimately what you become. And I'm not gonna tell them to just like shut the fuck up, There's freedom of speech, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna engage in that conversation or anything. I thought it was kind of funny, some of the things they were saying anyways, but yeah. I need to be more aggressive with these fucking guys and just tell them that what they're doing is retarded. Maybe. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I really believe that these values and principles are what turns you into a real man, because this leads you away from all this fucking ridiculous behavior that I'm talking about, like saying you have no standards, always talking about how you need to fuck a bitch right now, how you need to fuck a bitch, not even knowing how many girls you've had sex with. Why do you think you're so horny all the time, man? Like, why do you think you have no standards at this point? Because you're fucking desperate for a bitch. Because all these sexual demons are within you, because you don't even know how many women you've had sex with. All of their sexual demons are within you now. All those sexual demons that they got from random ass guys. This one dude I was working with said strippers aren't people. I don't know, maybe he has an argument. I don't know. But yeah, it's just getting fucking crazy with this shit, man. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Men think it's so cool to fuck this woman, fuck that woman. Nah. You keep doing that, you will never get a valuable woman. Never. Unless you seriously change your life around, which is possible for men. More possible than women. It's very, very rare that a woman can do that when she's had sex with that many people and been in that lifestyle. But a man can do it, but it's pretty unlikely. Once he's in that state of mind, like this one guy today, I'll give you another example. Like, he has a girlfriend or whatever, he has kids with her. It's the guy that said he was wilding out in his early 20s or whatever. He said he was wilding out and he misses it. He misses being like that. It'll always be in the back of your mind that time that you were getting some crazy head from like the sexiest girl you've ever been with in your life. It'll always be in the back of your mind. Always. You can't forget it. And it's like, and the devil will always tempt you with that, what if you went back to that lifestyle? That was so pleasurable. That was so enjoyable. Oh, I had the biggest orgasm ever. And obviously, the more of these experiences you have, your mind will just run circles and circles through all these memories of sexual. It's just fucking disgusting, man. Now that I think about it. But yeah, just accept semen retention for what it is, you know. Try it. Once you try it out, you'll know what the truth is. I mean, even without fucking going into it and even without doing it, like, it's pretty logical why this would be beneficial to you. And it's kind of ridiculous to think otherwise. But a lot of men are caught up in their emotions and caught up in lust and stuff like this. But, you know, everybody will come to see it one day or another, whether it's tomorrow, the next day, or on their deathbed. Anyways, that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully I'll get to another one soon. Peace out, man.